Let me catch my breath. Hi friends, welcome back to the Chemically Imbalanced Black Girl Podcast, aka the best podcast out there. Some of you just may not know about it yet. Welcome back. We're on episode 58, and I'm so excited for you guys to see the studio. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I posted about this episode right here going to be audio, because I am having and I'm not having a hard time. It's just that, actually finish the thought. I'm setting up the podcast studio, right? Which is basically my living room. Because this is where I spend all my time. And I thought I was going to do it. I thought I was going to set up the podcast studio in my bedroom because of how big my bedroom is. But the way my windows are set up and the way my bed is positioned, it wasn't going to fucking work in there. And also, I don't sleep in my bedroom, guys. So I literally sleep on my couch. And I've just been in here with all these boxes and hammers and nails trying to put up shelves and put up wallpaper and build little desks and shit like that. And I am not tool hammer savvy. I am not tech savvy. You guys know I don't even know how to I wouldn't know how to turn on my fucking phone if I wasn't a millennial. So I just needed like one little audio episode, one little week, to where I can make sure everything looks okay. I finally got some more anime stuff. If you are on the Discord that I started, shout out to everyone who is. Then you're going to see some sneak peeks. I posted a couple pictures up there. And I also realized that I don't know how Discord works. Like, I'll say something and I'll hit send. Not me in the middle of a yawn, but I'll say something and I'll hit send. And then I'll check back on it later and it'll like never send. Like, I thought I sent a picture in there, but I just sent a description of the picture. And I was like, fuck. Oh, I'm showing my age. Guys, for those of you who aren't on the Discord, and for those of you who are just like, bitch, I'm just going to listen to this podcast when it's posted on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Like, I do not care about your life and all that other shit. And that's fine. I respect that. You do not get any backlash from me on that. It's coming along great for those of you who aren't watching or, don't give a fuck. It's coming along great. It looks nice. I hope that the longer you listen to this podcast, you do care about me and you want to support me and you want to see the little things that I show, because I'm not going to lie to y'all. I know I say this all the time, but I am just not an open bitch. I'm just not. And I know you guys are getting tired of me saying that, but I really need y'all to know that this is special treatment, even though you guys don't really know me. I feel like I know you. A couple of y'all. It's 400 y'all. Y'all should feel like y'all know me. I've told y'all everything. But I feel like this is really, really like special treatment I'm giving y'all, because when I tell y'all, my family doesn't even know that I'm alive. Like, a lot of my family doesn't even know where I am, how old I am, like what my situation is. I've just gone no contact with literally so many members of my family. Like, I think, and I'm not exaggerating, hand on my heart right now, if you can't hear me pressing against the skin, hand on my heart right now, I'm pretty sure only about 5 members of my family know that I'm in Florida and that, I'm good. And I'm not exaggerating, y'all. Back when the episodes were first coming out, I told you guys about my birth mom, my birth siblings, my just birth maternal side of the family. And then you guys know I have my adopted side, which I never really, we were never really, that close. It was just me and my parents. And then me and my parents had that little riff off. So I'm really not a sharer. If you guys know, my personal Instagram is linked on my podcast page. I don't post pictures of myself. You guys know I'm insecure. I don't like taking pictures. So this is just a reminder to you guys of how special I think this podcast is for me to keep doing this, and there's been times, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, there's been times where I've seen like my family or one of my exes or one of my ex friends, they'll like create a fake page and like sneak and look on my shit. I've seen it. It doesn't bother me. But as far as like me going out of my way to like post it and share it with people from my like actual life, it's just not gonna fucking happen. So if you're listening to this and you're kind of a recluse or an introvert, and I don't even think I'm an introvert. I just think I don't like fucking talking to people unless I'm ready to. And that's not really being introverted. That's just leave a bitch alone until she's ready to open up. That's really not, because I hate calling myself an introvert because it makes me sound like this mean, closed off bitch. And sometimes I can be, but most of the times I'm not, if you catch me in the right mood. Like, I'm really, really sociable, and I'm really nice to get to know, as long as I want you to get to know me and as long as I feel sociable at that time. Any other time, bitch, I'm going in the house and I'm locking the door behind me and I'm not coming back out. Even though I know this podcast is, the target audience is Black girls or Black women who, you know, have been through trauma, or do you really even have to go through trauma to be like depressed and have anxiety? I don't think you do. Some people, that's another thing that I might want to talk about in another episode. Like, are there women who haven't been traumatized or beaten or attacked or anything bad and you still have depression and anxiety? Because I'd actually love to hear about that and talk about that with somebody. So I think that might be in the next video episode, because I think I want you guys to see me when I'm talking about that, because I feel like that's pretty deep. Like I was saying, I know this podcast is positioned towards Black women who are chemically imbalanced, but even if you're just like regularly imbalanced, bitch, I want to know about that, you know? If you find it hard to like reconnect, and this is what I'm trying to say. I know all of my like personality I know all of my personality red flags and shit I always take back to COVID and lockdown. But y'all, I really, really, really feel like lockdown changed my fucking life and my perspective on shit and my perspective on people. Especially right after that, I was a flight attendant and I just saw the quality of human beings just fall the fuck away, basically. I don't know what it is. And I'm sure there's been literal thousands of takes on this, but I don't know. Has anybody else noticed a change in their personality that won't go away after lockdown? Has anybody noticed that? And because for me, it's just like, I feel no need to like be a part of anything. I feel no need to like include myself in stuff. I feel no need to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I talked to y'all about this. A lot of y'all already know what I'm about to say. You guys know what JOMO is. I mentioned that plenty of times. If you're new to listening, if you haven't listened to like episode like 17, if you weren't here for back then in those episodes, I talked about really having this thing called JOMO, which is the joy of missing out. Is the exact opposite of FOMO, which means the fear of missing out. Which is basically, if there's something going on and you're not a part of it and you don't know about it, then you get like severe anxiety, or like you just start lashing out, or you start acting out, or you just get like this feeling of not being a part, right? It's an uncomfortable feeling of not being a part. It makes you do stupid shit to actually feel a part of whatever the fuck is going on. I have the exact opposite of that, and it started during lockdown, because I feel like there was a lot of people doing a lot of shit just to try to feel connected and close to other people. And it was making me sick to my fucking stomach. And I can't give you an example, which is pissing me off because it was 4 years ago and I smoked too much weed and I can't even remember what I ate for dinner last night. But if I could give you an example, bitch, I would. Just gave me the fucking ick so hard. I was like, is it that deep? Are people going to these lengths to be connected to another motherfucker that they don't know? You know what I'm saying? Are people really doing shit like this just to get gratitude? Not even gratitude, just to get, I don't know the words that I'm looking for, to get a view or a like, or you just want eyes on you. You know, I hated it so much. I hated it. So I started off really, really petty. All the movies and shows that came out during lockdown, which was only like 1 or 2, by the way, bitch. They had them bitches on back roll because they was like, we can't go anywhere. We can't put shit out. So all the shows and stuff that were streamed or, you know, on during COVID and during lockdown, I purposely didn't watch. I was like, I don't want to be mentally inclined with the masses, because I think most of the masses are idiots. And so you guys know my famous saying, I think stupid shit is contagious, and I would hate for it to rub off on me. So anything that I see most people doing, I'm not going to do. And that personality trait of mine started in COVID, and I have not been able to shake that bitch off since. I don't know. It's just that I don't want to be. Also, what started in COVID, this is something that a lot of people don't appreciate, but I feel like if you're black and you've been through some shit, you would not only understand this, but you would be like, I mean, bitch, is a valid question. You know, if you grew up in any southern state, or, you know, if you grew up just around, you know, then you know. So, surprisingly, in Florida, I am around a lot of white people when I'm at work. And, you know, they invite me out. They invite me to, like, birthday parties and stuff like that, and little kickbacks and stuff. And my number one question always has to be, am I going to be the only black person there? I'm pretty sure I told y'all a story about me asking somebody else this. And a lot of people get offended. Surprisingly, to me, a lot of people get offended when I ask that question. And I don't think that's an offensive question, because, bitch, I want to make sure that ain't no funny shit going on. I mean, I don't understand how that's a rude question to ask. And if I am the only black person that's going, I'm not fucking going. I'm just not gonna go. And that doesn't mean that I think that the white people that invited me are dangerous or gonna harm me. It doesn't mean that I think, you know, there's gonna be some funny shit going on. It doesn't mean that I think they're racist. It doesn't mean none of that. It just means that I'm not going anywhere that I'm uncomfortable. And when I'm the only black person, I'm uncomfortable. That don't make no sense. We don't have to take this down into let's break this down. Why do you feel like that? Or it doesn't have to turn into a racist attack. It doesn't have to be any of that. I am more comfortable when I see at least one or more of my people. That's just a boundary that I have. That's a fact. That's just something that makes me comfortable. Now, if there was somebody trying to, like, oh, well, why? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I do know. I'm just comfortable around black people. Is that not a good enough answer? But yeah, that also started in COVID. Because even though I was alone, I still had my my fair share of group of friends. This was in Virginia Beach, obviously. I still had my fair share of group of friends, and, you know, they made me feel good at the time. You know, they made me feel good enough at the time, and they gave me what I needed at the time. And, you know, others didn't. And also, that was a really scary time for black people. I know every black person that's listening right now, you remember what the fuck happened during that time. So, yeah, I think that all of that was happening, especially with, like, George Floyd, and, you know, the fact that people were more upset about, oh, my eyes are tearing up. Wow. Y'all are not going to get a bitch to cry on camera. I could do this podcast for 37 years. On God, I will never cry on camera. I'll pause this bitch and run off screen before I ever cry. But, you know, the people who were more sad about, you know, Target having a broken window than this nigga literally getting the life stood on out of his neck. And that really burnt into my brain, y'all. I'm not lying to you. Even when them niggas was what was they marching up on? The White House? They weren't marching on the White House, sorry. You know what they were marching on. I can't remember the building's name at the time. But all of that shit is, like, burnt into my brain from 4 years ago, and it's at the forefront of my brain like that shit happened last week. And I can't shake it. I can't let it go. So yeah, I just spent 20 minutes talking to y'all about absolutely nothing. Guys, welcome back. If you're still here, that was such a ramble. Welcome back to the Chemically Imbalanced Black Girl podcast. Y'all, we're on episode 58. I feel like this was going to be a long one, and not on purpose. I'm so sorry. Before I get into the topics, I want to do a mental health check-in. Like, that whole 20 minutes wasn't just a mental health check-in for me personally. But how are you guys doing? All my girls, my gays, my guys, my everything in between. How are you guys doing? I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Honestly, guys, me being in my own space now and having this whole house to myself has really, really done a number on me in a good way. Because you never know. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Oh my God, I'm just rambling this whole episode. I'm sorry. You never know. When you're living with somebody, right? Whether it's a roommate, whether it's a family member, whether it's your parents, anybody, and you're a grown-ass adult, so many issues and so many problems come up that you didn't even know would come up because you can't fucking think straight, right? Anybody who has a roommate or anybody who lives in a house not by themselves, it could be your kids, it could be your fucking dog, it could be your husband, your wife, anybody. If you just live in a house with somebody else, when you have a bad day, the worst fucking thing you could hear is them fucking keys jiggling in the doorknob, in the doorway, or like some feet running up them stairs, or the water being turned on, bitch, or the toilet being flushed, or the shower being turned on. Like any other being in your shit when you're pissed off or when you're having a bad day, or you can even just be having a bad day. You just want to be alone. And any inclination of another motherfucker being in that house with you is just like, I'm about to kill myself. Like, it's just so, it's so much, it makes it feel so much deeper than it actually is. It's just like, I can't fucking do this shit anymore. Like, I'm about to lose my mind. Never really noticed how much your brain makes up and how much anger your brain builds up when you just don't have the capacity to fucking think, right? When it's your parents, it's actually a lot a bit worse, actually, bitch, because I don't know, I've never had a roommate before, but, well, except for like when I was trying to be a flight attendant, but like for living purposes, I've never had like a roommate, so I don't know if like roommates nag each other. But, like, it's worse when it's your parents because it's just, like, you have two motherfuckers that are saying the same shit to you. One of them's yelling. One of them's trying to have a calm conversation. But the calm conversation is pissing you off, too, because you just got told the same shit by this other motherfucker who screamed it at you. So now you don't really want to hear it, whether it's in a calm voice or not, because, bitch, I just sat for 2 hours and let this motherfucker yell at me and said the same shit you about to tell me. Now, when it's my turn to start screaming, y'all want to put a bitch out, right? When I start throwing shit and breaking shit and cutting motherfuckers, now everybody want to say, Zaria, oh my God, well, just relax. Zaria been relaxing. Y'all been yelling at Zaria for 2 fucking years. And now when a bitch got a knife in her hand, oh, everybody want to be fucking scared. Okay. By the way, that did not happen. I did not pull a knife out on my parents. I did yell at them a few times, but only because I was at my breaking point, bitch. I would never hold a knife to anybody. I mean, I would, just not my parents, because that's crazy. When you finally, I say all that to say, when you finally get out and you have your own space, the amount of like brain space you have, and amount of like your lungs feel like they're more open, bitch. Like you just have the room and the capacity to take a deep breath and be like, damn, what do I want to do today? Like right now, I'm sitting in my living room, chilling, probably about to make a toaster strudel. You know, just probably gonna smoke a blunt after that. You know, like when I was at my parents' house, I would have to wake up, not be on my phone for a little bit. I have to listen to see who's up and who's walking around the house. When I came out my room, I would have to like hurry up and tiptoe and shimmy into the kitchen to find, so I don't run in. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have to act like a fucking spy in my own house because I don't want to accidentally run into nobody, because I don't want to talk to nobody, and I don't want to see nobody because I'm fucking tired of being in here. I guess this episode really needed to happen because I have a list of topics beside me, guys. Haven't said one of them. Haven't talked about a fuck thing on this paper. I guess I really needed to get this out. I guess I really need to talk to y'all about this because I can usually stop myself when I'm going on tangents, but I guess this tangent wanted to come out. So I'm not even like, I hate being that type of podcast that be like, you need to stop doing this. There's one podcast I listen to. I'm not going to say the name of it because I'm about to say something bad about it. There's one podcast I listen to, and this girl is actually one of my favorite podcasters. Because she cuss just as much as I do, and I love a good podcast that cuss. There was, when I first started doing this podcast, there was an older woman who told me I curse too much. I was like, bitch, girl, whatever. So I love a good cursor. I do. I love when people just put a fuck on anything. I do. And if you don't like cursing and you listen to this podcast, I really apologize. I'm glad that you're sticking it out with your girl, even though I do something that you don't like. But I'm gonna throw a fuck in there. I just am. I can't help it. Like I was saying, there's this one girl that I listen to her podcast, and she's such a podcast to where she's like, you need to start doing this, and you need to stop doing this, and this is why your life is like this, because you won't stop doing this, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. Like, her podcast is like telling people like what to do, and I guess it's giving it advice, but she literally says like, stop doing this, stop doing that. And there's one thing about me, bitch, there's one thing about this podcast. I'm never gonna tell you to stop doing a fuck thing. Girl, you know how many things I should stop doing that I still do? Smoking weed being one of them. Girl, this will never be a self-help podcast. And I hate saying that, because I do want to help people with this podcast, but I would never do it in a way to where like I'm pointing my finger at you and be like, this is why your dumb ass keep going through this, because you won't stop fucking doing this. Girl, if you want to fuck that nigga, fuck that nigga. If you want to smoke that blunt, smoke that blunt. If you want to watch that show, watch that show. I don't give a fuck. As long as you're not hurting nobody, as long as you're not denying no basic rights, as long as you're not doing no hate crimes or nothing like that, bitch, you good with me. We fine. As long as you're not a terrible fucking person. I don't know. I never been that type of bitch to be giving out advice. I'm going to tell you about my life. I'm going to tell you some shit I've been through. And if you've been through it too, then let's talk and laugh about it. But other than that, I'm not, maybe it's because I'm not as confident as other people to be able to be like, stop. Bitch, we insecure. What you mean stop? I just don't know. So if you ever want to tell somebody about this podcast, this is what I want y'all to tell people about this podcast. If you got a homegirl or a homeboy or a home any fucking thing that, wants to get into podcasts, or you think they would like this podcast, tell them this podcast is like a homegirl telling you stories on FaceTime. That's what I want you to tell people this podcast is about. It's like, if you don't have no friends, or if you don't have no friends that like to get deep with their conversations, bitch, or if you don't have nobody that you could turn to talk about some shit, look up Chemically Imbalanced Black Girl. You won't be disappointed, bitch. That bitch will say literally anything and everything, and she will take anything and everything. So yeah, that's what I like. That sounds good. Hey, we're at 30 minutes. I don't know how I've been talking for 30 minutes, but I guess I have been. I'm going to end this off. I have touched none of the topics, y'all. What happened today's episode? Wow, I have touched none of the I think that's the first time this ever happened. I am going to leave you with one of the topics, though. So this will be my exit topic. Because I've been thinking about this for a long time. You guys know my birthday's coming up in May. There's just something, hold on. So this is a real ass topic that I want to talk about, because I don't know. Okay, just check me out real quick. Does anybody else feel like they missed their peak? Because you hear all the time where people say, oh, they peaked in high school, they peaked in college. I definitely didn't peak in high school. I told y'all I was Naruto running to the fucking cafeteria. That was never my peak. A bitch didn't go to college. I took a few courses to be certified for a PT, but I never actually enrolled in somebody's fucking institution. So I definitely didn't peak there. I didn't peak when I was 21 because I was trying to kill myself. I didn't peak from 18 to 23. And when I was 24, I definitely didn't peak because I was just in flight school the whole fucking time. And now I'm 25. I'm about to be 26 in May. And I feel like, bitch, did I lose it? Where did it go? Where I have never peaked. I have never had that moment of just damn, this is the prime of my life. I feel like I missed it, bitch. I'm well, now, bitch, I'm 4 years away from being 30. So I'm just but I don't look like it though. I don't look like I'm 4 years away from being 30. And I know that makes me sound like 30 is some wrinkled bitch in a coffin, and I know it's not. If you're 30 and you're listening to this, relax. Delete the paragraph, bitch. I'm not saying that. But I don't know. And also to caveat off of that, was anybody else a really good child because they had bad parents? And let me land on that. Let me reiterate, because I know that there's a mix, right? You can either have real strict parents and a real fucked kid. You know, the kids got strict parents, so they sneaking out, they drinking, they smoking, they inviting boys back to the house and shit like that. Or you can have really good parents and you still doing all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But where is the line to having a bad parent and a good child? You know, it's like on some Gilmore Girls shit. And I don't think Lorelai was a bad parent. She just did shit wrong. Anyway, that just showed my age. If you don't know what Gilmore Girls is, don't worry about it, bitch. You just fuck it. But I had a bad mom, right? And I had a dumbass older sister. So between seeing what my bad mom and my dumbass sister did, I was just like, I don't think I want to do any of that. Like, that shit looks stupid. So I'm gonna air my sister out because I don't give a fuck about that bitch. When my sister was like 18, 17, I don't remember how old I was. We're 4 years apart, so I guess I was like 14. She was living with my grandpa for reasons I don't fucking remember. We were all living with somebody else at different times because my mom was a fucking lunatic, literally. She was staying with my grandpa, and I remember being asleep and being woken up to the sound of like bodies being slammed against walls. And my mom was fucking my sister up because she had snuck a boy into the house. And if you guys saw my grandpa's house at the time, it was a humongous house. And my sister was on the 3rd floor of this house. So how the fuck you thought you was finna sneak a nigga into this house when you gotta walk up 3 flights of stairs is beyond me. And there's old niggas on each. Yeah. So obviously she got caught. My mom drove her from my grandpa's house to our house and was beating the shit out of her the whole time. Almost got into a car accident because she's flailing her fist in the backseat trying to beat my sister's ass, right? Oh my God. When they get home, it's not funny. It is actually funny. I was weak as fuck then and I'm weak as fuck now. So when they get home, I wake up from my deep, deep slumber and I see my sister getting her ass beat. And I'm just like, what happened? And my brother's like trying to push me back in the room. He was like, she got caught with a dude in the house. I don't know. They were fucking, I don't know what they were doing. I don't really even know the whole story. All I know is that there was a nigga involved trying to get in my dad's house for my sister, and my sister got her ass beat. But seeing that literally was a what did the kids say? What did they say? Fuck, don't let me. It was a from Spider-Man. Zaria, please don't show your age. It was a canon event for me because I was like, okay, a bitch is never, she snuck a nigga in the house. Okay, bet, stamp that on my brain. You're never gonna do that, right? So I never snuck anybody in the house. Now I'm not gonna lie, I've been snuck into people's house before, but I never brought that shit back to my residence before, right? Let me give you another example. My mom, I'm talking about my birth mom, and my sister both equally love to date hood niggas, right? And I mean, they love hood niggas. If them niggas aren't in a gang, toting a gun, pants sagging down, can't really speak that good, my mom and my sister, they mouth water for niggas like that. They just like, oh my goodness, that's the finest nigga alive, right? So obviously growing up, we've had our house shot at. You know, I've been involved in a couple drive-bys. You know, I've even got my ass beat by gang members. I'm pretty sure I've told that story multiple times. My brother used to false claim his ass off. We used to get jumped at least twice a day, right? So being involved in these drive-bys, seeing me, my brother, my sister get beat up by grown-ass men, you know, seeing my mom, you know, get mistreated by niggas and shit like that, I'm just like, canon event. Stamp that in your brain. You're never gonna date a nigga like that. I have never in my life dated a hood nigga. I've never dated no drug dealer, no scammer, no fucking nothing. All of my niggas are firefighters and and very well-mannered motherfuckers, you know? So it's just like, because I've had so much bad representation in my life, I'm just like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be the third coming. I'm not going to be the juniorette of you guys' fucked upness. I'm just not going to carry out any of that. And I think I'm like that to the point of resentment. I'm so different than them two bitches to the point where even if I feel myself slipping up a little bit, I'm like, Zaria. Fuck no. No. It's literally out of spite. My entire personality. Oh my God, y'all, I just had a revelation. I'm having a euphoric experience right now. My entire personality is built out of spite from my birth family. Like, the bitch I am right now is just because I cannot be one of those bitches. Y'all, oh my God, I think we just came to that conclusion together. That's insane, but it's so true. It's so true. I wish I could like put a plug in my brain and like hook it up to a TV so I could show y'all, so y'all could stream my childhood and be like, damn, this bitch was going through it, you know? So I wonder if you have family like that, or if you had parents like that or siblings like that didn't give you the greatest representation of a man or a woman or whatever you identify as growing up. How are you now, and how did those two things create your personality now? Because I just realized, I guess right now, that my birth family really shaped the bitch I am today, because I just tried so hard not to be like them. What a great episode. Even though I didn't talk about anything I planned on talking about today. This is why I love podcasting, because it's just so fucking real. And every time I turn on this record button, it's just like, I don't know what I'm about to say, but whatever I say is going to be needed to say. And hopefully somebody needed to hear that. So, oh my God, I love you guys. Okay, guys, that was episode 58 of the Chemically Imbalanced Black Girl Podcast. I will see you in episode 59. Hopefully you're feeling better, and so am I. I'll see you next time. Bye.